In January 2023, 40-year-old Simon Hill was arrested in Oxford for shouting who elected him. Same thing in May 2023, where protesters with placards reading "Not my king" were arrested ahead of the coronation. It seems that anything perceived as disruptive is now a criminal offence. What freedom, then, is left to speech and thought in the UK? Hello and welcome, my name is William and I am a researcher in sociology at the University of Warwick. So I am not a jurist or a barrister, but I have been studying grassroots movements for the past 15 years. In the UK, taxpayers have to cash out 100 million a year to maintain the monarchy, which, to be honest, I am not sure what does it bring to the British public apart from occasional ceremonies, press articles, and maybe some colourful mugs. It is understandable that around 20% of the British public has doubts whether it is a sound investment or not, and rightfully they intend to make their voices heard. In England and Wales, there is no specific right in law for starters. However, the right to protest has been protected in England and Wales under the European Convention of Human Rights. This convention was a treaty signed by the UK in 1950. It was followed by the European Charter of Fundamental Rights in 2000, which are practical guidelines inspired from the said convention of 1950. So did Brexit change anything to this? Well, yes and no. Since 2021, the year Britain officially left the European Union, the European Charter of Fundamental Rights does not apply anymore. However, the older text, the Convention of Human Rights, was incorporated in British law through the Human Rights Act passed in 1998. So does it mean that the UK still abides by the European Convention? In theory, yes, but it just says that human beings have the right to protest in Europe. So a very vague definition that you can imagine bears a huge asterisk at the end. In practice, if the UK was to break this convention, it doesn't face any consequence. The UK itself has been condemned 329 times. But these condemnations are only symbolic. There is no material, financial, or legal consequences more than just, a tap on your fingers. However, it's been a very long-standing conservative policy goal to repeal and replace the Human Rights Act of 1998. The Conservatives haven't succeeded yet. However, they're getting closer with the latest Police, Crime, Sentencing and Courts Act of 2022. Background story. In the wake of Black Lives Matter, Extinction Rebellion, Insulate Britain, or Just Stop Oil, some decision makers and members of the public have deemed these protests too disruptive to be accepted as a legitimate form of protest. The act gives the Home Secretary, so the police force if you want, broad powers to make regulations without reference to Parliament. So they are to decide by themselves and for themselves which type of protests are acceptable and which are not. The police must show, however, that a protest may cause some serious public disorder, serious damage to property, or serious disruptions to the life of the community. The first problem is any protest, by definition, is a form of disruption. A strike, which is a form of protest, is by definition a disruption of services. So how do you reconcile the right to protest for nurses or teachers, for example, when this disruption affects healthcare and education services all across the country, affecting millions and millions of citizens? Second contention, law is subject to interpretation. What do we mean by serious? Who gets to judge and assess what is a serious disruption? By precedent in May 2023, the police have shown that, well, a placard is enough of a serious disturbance. Should people express their discontent by just standing silently in front of Parliament with their hands in their pockets? Well, one may argue that this is a serious disturbance because it disturbs the flow of pedestrians, it disturbs the flow of workers commuting to work or the flow of tourists trying to enjoy the monuments of London. It prevents the safe passage of citizens, so important to our economy that this matter should be prevented at any cost, one may argue. What is a right to protest if its enjoyment has so many conditions attached to it that it cannot be enjoyed in practice? From now on, it means that a person standing at the wrong place, at the wrong time, or expressing the wrong kind of opinion can be arrested for committing a criminal offense. While still present in all books of law, it is safe to say, dear citizens of the UK, sadly, that the right to peacefully protest and express our discontent in the UK might be on life support at a terminal stage. For those of you who want to brave the law and express their discontent, I think it is important for you to know your rights and what to do, for example, if you get arrested while peacefully protesting. So I'll drop some links in the description below. In the meantime, thank you very much for your attention. Please do not subscribe. This is not a political science channel. I am a sociologist. It's a very, very different thing. And I don't get any money from YouTube, so don't bother boosting my engagement rates. In the meantime, please stay safe and take care of each other.